All right, everyone. Today we are going back to some searching. Found out just this weekend, as the weekend was approaching, that on January 23rd, a woman named Cayla Nickles went missing not far from here in Johnson City. The weather is actually perfect right now for drone searching because the trees are just clear, and there were other plans for this weekend, but when I heard about this case, it's so new. It's only been a few weeks. Today is February 8th, so it hasn't been very long. So talking with the family, I've got some more details about Cayla, her state of mind at the time, what happened. She was last seen outside her house in her pajamas, barefoot. Common story. We have other cases like that. She disappeared. Family has some theories. Not sure exactly where the police searched. Family had some ideas of that. I think there was droning near the house. There's other locations the family that's further away the family would like to have checked out. I think more research is needed for that, just because it's another theory and there's more to it. So a little more research. Today, what I want to do is take a look at the area, look at the neighborhood, and try to imagine the places she could have gone in the state of mind she was in. She could literally walked into the woods. So what I want to take a look at along that street is locations where that's actually possible. Also not far away, if you cut through the properties on foot, then it would be even shorter to get to a section of Boone Lake that looks like it's publicly accessible. At least it's easily accessible via some kind of dirt road. So there's air searching and water searching I'm going to do for the family today. Got their permission to do this. I wanted to make sure it was okay with them if I cover her story, take a look around. So I'm going to do some droning today, quite a bit, and we'll see what we see. I'm going to show you my gear here in a second, but I've got 3 batteries that I can constantly keep charging with my drone. So I got that plugged into the Jeep. Once I take a flight, I come back and we put that back in the charger, so I could literally fly all day if I want to. If I see anything that's clear, I'll call the authorities. If I see anything that's unclear, I may have to hike in. I've got my backpack, water, safety gear, and everything. I might have to hike into the area to confirm that it's something substantial and needs to be reported. I'm hoping it's something visible from the air that I can zoom into and report that. If the air flights are unsuccessful, then I'm going to, and nobody wants to think of this scenario, but it's got to be looked at. I'm going to drop my drone in that water area that I think could be easily walked to, and we'll scan the water a few times. I've got 45 minutes to an hour on the water drone, which isn't a whole lot, but it should be enough to cover that section of water. It takes me a while to get this stuff together, I can tell you, because I've got a lot of gear now. Let me show you everything I'm working with. So this is the water drone. This is the Gladius Mini. Pretty big, good sized container because it comes with the handset, the full coil of tether, and the drone itself. So that's in the back seat. Today I'm bringing the air drone right here. Got my high-powered telescope, monoscope, which I don't know if I'll need, but if there's a mountain somewhere that I need to take a closer look at, this can get me really close, especially again with the trees bare. That could help. An endoscope now. This is for the water, so I can tape this to my pole. It's got a little camera with light. Could really come in handy for the water search. Obviously got all my batteries. Got my drone landing pad. I've got all the gear I need. I've got my backpack filled with water and food and safety equipment if I do have to hike in. I'm thinking I probably won't be hiking today, but you never know if I see something and we need to. So, all right, enough talking. Let's drive over there and see what we see. Cayla Nickles was last seen on Cache Hollow Road in Johnson City, right in front of her house. As I turned down Knob Creek Dock Road near Deer Run Park in Johnson City, the first thing I noticed were the bridges. There were 2 you needed to cross on the way toward Cache Hollow Road. The second bridge is a large one that crosses a peninsula of Boone Lake, the same lake that Jen and I live on. Cache Hollow Road runs along a very steep mountain on the right and farmland on the left. As I approached the Nickles property, what jumped out at me were all of the potential exit routes Cayla could have taken to leave the property. This included not only Cache Hollow Road, but all of the dirt roads and driveways that head across the land toward other properties and the lake itself. I decided to flank the land she could have taken by following Miller Hill Road up the right side of the fields. Miller Road looked slightly promising, following an isolated forest area on the left with nothing but horses and roaming dogs. But this road eventually led to a dead end and no good place for me to set up with my air drone without attracting a lot of attention. So I decided to turn around and instead drive around the land, all the way around to the lakeside, where I could see on Google Earth there was a church property where I could easily park and launch my drone to conduct my initial air search. Air searches are a unique approach to searching for missing people. In the field, you can't see a whole lot on the little mobile screen. The idea is to conduct a thorough visual scan with high-resolution 4K imagery that you can then review, zoom in, and examine objects more closely on a large screen display. My goal here was to scan any thick forested areas that Cayla potentially could have walked into, hidden herself, or otherwise gotten stuck or trapped.
After scanning the small patch of forest behind her house, I then focused on the creek that runs from the field near her house all the way through the valley to the lake. I followed the creek all the way from the field to the lake, making sure to capture as much land as I could with high-resolution imagery for later analysis.
All right, so that was kind of a successful flight. I was able to get the 2 patches of woods. Unfortunately, because of this, you can see this steep ridge right behind me. I had to stay just under 400 feet, which is the legal limit if you have a commercial drone license. So I had to stay under 400 feet. Anytime I went down to like 350 or less, the rock in this cliff face just cut off the signal, so my signal wasn't that good. But I was able to get all the way close to her property, and I scanned that patch in the middle. I'm gonna have to, I can't use my laptop in the car here. I've got to get home. I think I'm gonna review this when I'm home so I can zoom right in, kind of modify the video and zoom in closer so I can actually look at what's on the ground. I also got that whole creek all the way up, probably one of the most isolated areas on this stretch. I want to do the mountain on the other side. The other side of the road, there's that sharp cliff across from her house. The only way she would have ended up there is walking down her road, taking a left, and for whatever reason going in the woods up there. It's a thick piece of forest, and that will take a while to scan, I think, but I might have to drive right into the middle of those. There's a house right there in the middle of the woods there, and just ask permission to launch from there. But I'm going to look for a good launch location on the other side and then scan that for a little while. That's going to take a while, and then we'll get to the water.
As I made my way up Copper Hill Drive to the hilltop opposite Cayla Nickles' house, the first thing that struck me was the steep grade of the hill and just how high this particular hill was. Eventually I got to a gate leading to the very last property. Not wanting to bother local residents, I turned around and scanned the hill down to the right. It became apparent to me very quickly that there's no way Cayla could have made her way into that area.
Alright, so the story on this side is the other side of the road is not just a hilltop, it's ravine, very steep ravine, one after another, with houses on top. There's no way she could have gotten into there very easily, so I just don't think that that's a viable spot. So I'm going to get to the water location. It looked like the water was really low today. I don't even think there's any water there, so we're going to take a look at that. It's not looking too good today, to be honest. Yeah, this is one of those sketchy places. This looks like someone's junkyard. Look like homeless people might have lived here at some point. Just weird stuff everywhere. Doesn't look like good water access like I thought it would, unfortunately. But again, the water is really down. Boone Lake is crazy low. This isn't going to be a good spot. So I think what I'm going to do next actually is I noticed near her house, not that far down the road, is the beginning of the creek that goes, the cove that goes to the lake, to Boone Lake. And I didn't realize it was that close. If she had wanted to, she could have walked along there, down there. I'm gonna go up, start at the bridge. I think I have enough range on my drone to actually follow the water, and I'm gonna scan that whole cove there. I think that might be a good place to check out. So I think that's gonna be next.
Following Knob Creek Dock Road, I made my way toward the larger bridge in this area. Bridges are often places where homeless folks hide out, so I decided to make my way under the bridge and take a closer look.
Yeah, way too many power lines up above in trees. I'm gonna cross the bridge and see if I can launch from the other side.
The air view the drone provides is truly a game changer. In this case, I was able to follow the entire cove, scanning both sides for anomalies, strange objects, or other irregular shapes that could indicate the remains or anything else that could shed light on whether Cayla was anywhere around here. Once I made it to the road, I decided to cross over to the creek on the other side and scan back down toward the cove again. One thing I did notice was this strange cage. However, zooming in on it became clear that the cage was completely empty, but no idea why it was placed here near the water. I continued scanning the forested area along the left side of the cove. I saw a few strange objects, but nothing that jumped out as providing any answers or clues as to whether Cayla had ever been in this area.
Well, as you can see, the water's way too low for a water search. This part of Boone Lake's pretty much dried up. I scanned as much of the woods on the sides as I could. I also got the creek on the other side of that property. So I've scanned both sides of this cove. Again, I'm going to take a really close look at home, zoom in to the video, and we'll see what we see. But I don't see a whole lot of hiding places, to be honest with you all. All the areas I thought were deep forest, the biggest area really was across the street from the house, and that again was just a steep hill on the opposite side, down a very steep ravine. It's difficult to get into, back up to a properties on the hill with a paved road, and I don't see a lot of hiding spots. Again, I don't know what the videos are going to show. The scan of the property behind the house, that whole creek, you never know. I mean, once we zoom in, there could be something there. That's the only place that I think nearby is a viable location. But again, not going to be a water search today around here. And Boone goes all the way around the corner to where I tried to access it over there near that dump area, dried out there too. Not a whole lot of options left today, unless I start entertaining other theories about her being taken out of the area. Got to do more research before I go there down that road, but there are some options there, some locations to probably check out. It gets more complicated. Unfortunately, that gets into the realm of some of the other cases in this area, like the Layla Santinello and Holland Snap cases, and I hope that's not the situation here. But I think this is going to do it for the excursion today. Let's get back home, review the video, and see what we see, if anything.
Reviewing the video I captured from the church, I used my video editing software to zone in on particular objects spotted from the air, zooming in to get a closer view. All I noticed in the wooded area near her house were small pieces of junk, metal debris, and things like that. Along the creek, I did spot a fire pit. Again, nothing that helps with getting any clarity on this particular case. Further along the creek, I zoomed in on what looked like a blue barrel off to the right of the flight path. Again, there's nothing to suggest that Cayla would have been placed in a barrel or that this blue barrel has anything to do with this case. Beyond those anomalies, I couldn't spot anything in this area that shed any additional light on the case of Cayla Nickles. If you have any information about Cayla Nickles or where she might be, please call the Washington County Sheriff's Office at 423-788-1414 and ask for Lieutenant Wes McKinney. Cayla could have been taken from the area and maybe with friends or others who she knows. If you know where Cayla is, please don't contribute additionally to the family's pain by continuing to hide Cayla or evidence of where Cayla is located. Do the right thing and provide the family with answers so that they can have their daughter and mother back home. Cayla is the mother to a 9-year-old child, Jeremiah, and Jeremiah deserves to know where his mom is. Again, please provide answers, if not for the rest of the family, then at least for Cayla's son, Jeremiah, who doesn't understand why his mom is gone. please call Lieutenant Wes McKinney at 423-788-1414 and let's give Cayla's family some peace and some resolution in this case. Please help us bring Cayla Nickles home where she belongs.